Common Knowledge is brought to you by PureMTGO.com and InkedGaming.com. Use coupon code CCMTG10 at checkout for a 10% discount on all Inked Gaming supplies and accessories. You can support the show directly through Patreon at patreon.com/common knowledge.
This is the Common Knowledge Podcast. It's not about the cost, it's about the knowledge. Here are your hosts, Brandon Clark and Lobbert.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 53 of Common Knowledge. I'm your host, Brandon, and join with me, as always, is my voluptuous assistant, Sean the Lobbert.
Sup?
Sup, bro? How you living?
Really good. I decided to take 2 days off this week. So
Nice.
Since I have like 1 day off in the middle of my week, I kind of have a 4-day weekend now. Oh, it's so great. I've just been like programming my game that I've been working on forever and played a whole bunch of Magic, and I've been doing the chores that I've been putting off. It's been amazing.
That sounds sweet. Yeah. Sounds way sweet. My school semester started, so I go to class all day. 5 days a week.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've said it on the podcast. Are you still working that job? Is that over yet?
No, I quit that job when the semester started because I was not going to have time.
I think we all heard it when you started a couple of the episodes and were just like, I hate everything. Life isn't worth living.
I mean, I still don't know that it is, but I'm soldiering on nonetheless.
Well, it's got to be more manageable when you're not working for 70 hours a week.
Yeah, it actually is. It's not like bad because right now, most of my classes are like 3 of my 5 classes I'm taking this semester are like 4.5 hours a day, but they're like lab stuff, so like they're in the kitchen.
Okay, you don't have homework?
I still have homework.
Oh,
like I have to
lame.
do the reading from the books and stuff like that, but take the tests online. But it's a lot of practical, like hands-on stuff. So it's not like I'm just sitting in lectures, for 12 hours a day. I'm like cooking and doing stuff. So it's not too bad. It's just it takes up a lot of time, and then like you factor in the fact that I commute an hour to the school. So I'm in my car for 2 hours a day, and then I'm at school for 10 hours or whatever.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, though, I did manage to try to fit some Magic into my my week, though.
Okay. Do you want to transition into what are we playing?
Yeah, let's transition.
What are we playing?
So I am sick and tired of not understanding what is so great about foil. So I played Elves. I played a league with Elves this week.
Nice. How'd that go?
I haven't even finished it. I've played 3 matches of the 5 so far. Still gotta wait forever in those queues.
Queues have been long.
Yeah, it sucks. But I'm also like, I don't know. I kind of hate Magic Arena for this. But now, like, playing Magic Online seems like more of a chore than ever before. At least before it was like, well, I'm playing Magic, so, But now it's just like I'm sitting there in the queue, just like waiting for the little icon to pop up that tells me, you got a match, and it just never comes. And I'm just like, and I'm playing this crappy client, and the whole time I'm just thinking, I could be playing fun Magic, which is sad because Magic Online's like the only way I can play Pauper. So Arena has like made me think of playing Pauper as a chore, just because I hate Magic Online so much.
That does sound pretty bad. I haven't stepped into that. The Magic Online, or not Magic Online, Magic Arena still, because I don't want to divide my time up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, it kind of sucks because I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm thinking about Pauper as like, oh, I have to go play Pauper now. But when it comes to like, oh, I need to try to get some Pauper in because, I have this role that I need to play every once a week where I try to be informed and educated. And I feel like I definitely can't if I haven't played at least a little bit of the format this week.
Hmm.
But then it's just like, well, I gotta play Magic Online, and that's like my mindset of like, oh, I have to play Magic Online.
I get that because I was getting that a lot this week of like, I don't know, my personality is pretty, I obsess over things, and I was started programming, and I just got the bug, I got the programming itch that I had to scratch, and I was like, okay, I have all this time, I need to play some Pauper, and then once I started actually playing it, I was like super into it, but like that's not. There's sometimes when I wake up first thing in the morning, I think about Pauper all day. But then in the last like week or two, it's been like, I don't know, like I'm used to taking a couple of months off, like once a year. And now that I have like a consistent thing that I do with a podcast, that's not an option. So I have to kind of, I don't know, purge my mind other ways. I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes any sense to
No,
anybody
I,
else
I
besides
totally
me.
get it. Like, even if it's something you love, you still kind of will get burned out of it and want to try something else for a bit and maybe come back to it. But I don't know. For me, like, I still think about the format a lot. I still try
Hmm.
to read articles when I see them, listen to what other members of the community are saying about the meta and stuff like that. But I really wish there was a better way for me to play Pauper outside of Magic Online because I'm in class now on Tuesday nights until 8:30 at night. My first class is 8 in the morning, and my last class gets out at 8:30 at night. So I can't play at the LGS anymore.
Yeah.
So I need to find another time. Like my only free evening besides tonight is Friday nights.
Hmm.
And I don't know. There's something about paper Magic that I just enjoy so much more than online. Like Arena is awesome, and I love playing Arena, but I don't really like. It's not the same to me. There's something about playing a game of Magic in paper that like I really like,
Yeah.
and Arena is kind of just like this is the best way for me to like get my fix
Just the
in.
mechanics down, but like
Yeah,
you don't get those weird dopamine hits you get when you like draw a card or untap your permanents. Like that really is super satisfying to me of like, okay, I'm gonna arrange everything, draw my card. It's just the kind of the process of doing it is like it's like tea time. You're just like, this is nice. Like it's time to do this. And
yeah,
you get caught up in it. And when you're doing it like online, it's not just like click, okay, that happened.
yeah, yeah. Let's kind of transition this conversation though into back into what I played, which was
Yeah.
elves, and I kind of want to ask what your opinion is on this deck right now, given the current state of this format. I kind of just played it because it was fun. I played against a foil deck. I played against the Gurmag deck, and I kind of soundly just crushed it. Um,
Yeah, specifically that matchup doesn't seem like it's too hard.
yeah,
It's always had that kind of weakness of flyers though, and I feel like since there's enough white decks running around,
yeah,
you
and
might you
and they're very low on removal. That blue black deck,
yeah.
like 6 removal spells, not counting the dazes and the foils.
Yeah. So I don't think it's in a terrible spot. I don't think it's
Yeah, because
like it's definitely up there.
how are the Tron matchups? So this is what's happened so far. So I've played 3 rounds in this league, right? I'm 1-2. I smashed Blue Black Delver in round 1, and then lost to 2 of the White Red Rally decks. Like, just kind of got obliterated by them,
I
which I think
wouldn't.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But how do you feel like the Tron matchup is
I don't think Elves
against
has a chance.
against Tron?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. Like it doesn't seem like a good matchup, but I've honestly never played it Like I've just not played enough with elves. I've just never played against Tron.
which is the weirdest thing to me because we'll get into what I played this week. But the elves doesn't have a whole lot of ways to interact, like at instant speed or with the fog lock, and
Right.
Tron has a whole bunch of like different ways to shut down those key permanents, bunch of counter spells, removal spells. I don't like the plan of elves like playing what's it called? Raid something? Aggressive raid strike, raid red colorless, deal a damage for each creature you control.
Deal damage for each creature you
Massive
control.
raid.
Yeah. Massive raid. I don't have that in my 75.
Okay, yeah, and then so what's your plan if they are fog blocking you? If they've just got you, they're playing a fog every turn and just bouncing it.
Probably just lose, right?
Yeah, like if you're playing against Stonehorn Dignitary Tron,
Yeah,
that
no
seems
chance.
horrendous. Yeah, I don't like that. And so,
Yeah.
can I transition into? Oh, do you have anything else to say on elves before?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say that I feel like the pillars of this format right now are the Gurmag Angler foil decks, the Rally the Peasants Battle Screech decks, and Tron decks. I feel like those are definitively like the pillars of this format right now.
Those
I guess
are
you could
tier one
also
and- yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could also just say like I guess you could also probably just narrow it down to like Gush decks, Monarch decks, and Tron decks, because like Boros Monarch is still prevalent. The other variants of Delver still do exist and are still
Yeah, there's still Scred.
competitive.
Scred definitely exists.
Yeah, good competitive decks. And so I think that those are kind of like maybe those are the pillars, Gush, Monarch, and Tron decks. But then you have all these different variations of those decks where you've got your Gurmag foil decks, your Scred ninja decks, your Boros tokens decks, your just straight Boros Monarch decks. But they're all kind of on the same branch of that tree. So I think that going forward, you like evaluating all your deck choices based on those three things. Like,
Yeah,
can I
elves
beat a
has
Gush deck?
two. It's bad against two of the three. It's got the Gush decks, kind of like I would take the elves deck there.
Yeah,
but against those other two, I
I
wouldn't.
still don't like the Scred matchup. The Scred matchup can be tough, especially if you encounter some psychos playing Fire Ice.
No.
Not very many people have, but just because like Fire Ice is actually as powerful as that card is and as high on it as we were, it feels really bad right now in the format, just like given the state of the meta.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really, really good against elves. But I don't know that you're ever going to encounter that. So the Scred matchup is iffy.
Yeah.
I think the elves is slightly the favorite, but Scred can.
Yeah, it's close, especially
Scred
after
can get
board.
there.
Scred really gains a lot of points after board.
Yeah, you've really got to take game one and hope that you have a good start in game three. Anyway, what did you do? What did you play?
So I'd made a tweet about this. It was that I went back and looked at all my games for the past month just to see what kind of decks I've been facing, because it felt like there was a ton of Tron. And first thing I noticed was that the last 6 games I played were all against Tron players. And then I looked back over the last... I've played 15 games over the last, 2 days. 8 of the 15 were Tron. I looked in December. About half of my games in December were against Tron as well. And I played... It was what was it? It was 30 games in December, and half of them were Tron. I'm just getting unlucky in that I'm just facing the same deck repeatedly. I know that's the case. I don't know, maybe Tron is just that prevalent of just lots of people see the lands and they want to play Tron. I can see why they would do that. It's the best control deck in the format right now. And if you want to play control, you just do that. But the decks that I actually played, I've been all over the place. I played some blue-black, Delver, Burn, and then Bruise.
Okay. What was your experience like playing Blue Black Delver?
winning. I don't know what else to describe it as. Yeah, it wasn't incredibly complex. It was foils seemed good. Like,
So what am I doing wrong?
it might. I mean, okay, who are you playing against? Because if you're playing at the LGS, I can see a lot of those matchups foils not being good, but
Sure.
against more of the meta big decks, they are better.
Yeah, I mean, I like foil in the Tron matchup a lot. It feels really good there.
I have a hard time telling you because you do have more experience than me. I've only played like 5 games, 6
Okay.
games.
But how do you feel about foil in like the Monarch matchups? You know, where they're
Good.
like going wide, where they cast all their spells out of their graveyard and like their spells have flashback. And I mean, I guess like if you foil the Monarch guy, that's a really good foil target. I don't feel bad about that. But like foiling the backside of a Battle Screech or something?
No. That's not what I'm using it on. It's mostly those removal spells. Like,
Yeah, Journey to Nowhere is like your best target.
it's hard to describe. I don't know. Like, I had a lot of games where I just stuck Delver. It flipped on turn like 2 or 3, and I just said no days. Okay, I've got a foil until like that Delver just killed him, or I land a Gurmag Angler, and then they have to be like, okay, block it with a Chumper, Galvanic Blast you, foil that, and they're just like, okay, now I'm just down a guy. I didn't really lose that many cards. The cards that I got rid of, I didn't need those lands that much anyway. Like, it felt really good. Like, in my experience, it felt good.
It just feels like it's so hit or miss. Like it feels good or it's like terrible. You know, it's never just like fine. And I maybe that's just my problem. I just don't like that in a card in my deck. Like if the card's going to be in my deck, I want it to be at least average the majority of the time and then just really good. Like I just feel like with foil it's like, okay, I foiled this thing. Now I have one card left in my hand. I drew another foil. Okay, this card does nothing. I just lost a draw step now.
I was casting it as like last resort. If I can deal with this any other way, if I can take 12 damage from this flyer over the course of the time it takes me to draw something else, I'll do that, and then eventually kill that guy.
That doesn't feel bad to you? Where you could just like replace that card in your deck with a spell that you could just cast? Like I've just got these cards in my hand that like I don't know.
No, like I'm having a different experience, I think, where when it felt good, it felt amazing, and the worst I felt, it was fine. I'm not having a hard time casting them.
And see, I'm not even playing as many foils. I'm only playing 2 foils in my decks.
That's weird. I don't know. That's why I even played the deck, was to get a little bit more insight, and I don't know, people are all over the place right now of like I've been listening to some streamers and watching YouTube videos and reading articles, and some people are just over the moon about it. Some people are super skeptical and they're like, it's still you're getting 3 for 1. The value on those islands, I think, is super low in a deck that can play. Like, I opened up a hand where it was like Island, Delver, and then the rest of my spells I could cast for free. Just all of them were like dazes, foils, gushes. Yeah. And then I eventually hit like Island 2, gushed, and I was just like, I've tapped mana for 1 spell this game.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is definitely the best foil deck. Like, like far and away, this is the deck that takes the most advantage of foil because of that reason. It operates on 1 mana so efficiently. You know, like really you just need a swamp and an island in play to operate because so many of your spells are free. But I don't know. I feel like I get into so many points where I'm like, this feels like a must answer card. And right now my hand is Cantrip, island foil, maybe some other random card or something. And I'm like, well, I feel like I've got to foil this because I don't have another answer. I guess I could like untap and try to use my cantrip to find an answer for it. But like, if I don't find it, do I die? Probably. So I feel like I have to foil this. And then like I go down to one card in hand and, you just lose that attrition game. The only times foil has felt great for me are the scenarios where you described, where I went like turn 1 Delver, daze your first removal spell, kill your guy, crack you for 3. But that doesn't happen all the time.
No, but that is the point of the deck. If you're going to streamline your deck, it's in there. Your deck is built with a purpose. You're trying to win the game in this way, and foil assists that. So I do think that it is good.
I don't know.
I'm glad we have 2 different perspectives, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, for me, it's like, if I could describe it, it's been like very good. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm glad I had this foil. Like maybe 40% of the time. But then like the other 60% of the time, I'm just like frustrated that I have this card in my deck, is what it feels like to me. It's never like a 40% of the time or whatever, this card is phenomenal. And then the rest of the time, it's just like, this is a good card. It just doesn't ever feel like that for me. It always feels like it's putting me into awkward scenarios. Like it's forcing me to use my resources in a weird way, because I now like need to think of like, oh, I didn't draw a gush this game, so can I afford to play out this second island here in case I draw foil? And then it's like, well, I kind of feel like I want to like be able to double spell this turn, like cantrip into something, but I can't because I now need to think about saving this island, and then I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to play the island and play my stuff. And then like I just draw a foil and I'm just like, ah!
Huh.
I don't know. I just feel like it sets up enough awkward scenarios that it like balances out the times where it's just like, I just nut drawed my opponent. I just like, my deck did the nuts and there was no beating them. And honestly, I feel like in those cases, like it doesn't matter if you have foil. Like the deck just,
I feel like it has mattered for me.
I feel like this deck, I've been saying this deck is insane forever, before foil was in the format. I don't think that foil is what's propelled this deck to where it is. I think that it has, in the sense that now people are noticing it and are like, oh my gosh, this is the best foil deck. Foil's the shiny new toy. Let's play Blue Black Delver. But I think this deck was on this power level before it had foil, and I don't necessarily feel like it needs foil to give it that boost. And I'm just experiencing a lot of, okay, when I'm not getting this boost of like, this is insane, it's just really bad for me. And I'm losing games where I just have like, I just drew a foil and I have nothing else because we've grinded down each other's resources, like, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I'll play the deck some more and we can argue every show about it.
Yeah.
That's what we've done for a month, I think. Okay, let's get into the show.
Argued about foils, yeah.
Yeah, let's. I mean, that was long.
That was a really long "What are we playing" segment. But let's transition again, or transform.
Card of the week.
This week's card of the week is Battle Screech, and I am super surprised we haven't done this one yet. Kaka!
Kevin!
That's an Up reference for everyone that didn't get it. Anyway, Up is a movie.
I want Up tokens, like Kevin tokens. So whenever I cast Battle Screech, I can put Kevins onto the battlefield and just like, Kevin! To my opponent. Like when I attack them, I'm like, Kevin, you! And I turn them sideways and they get Kevined.
You should do that, because then you'd be playing a white deck, which I feel like is pretty good right now. Oh, that was a good transition.
Yeah, that was really good.
That
was so good.
Battle Screech, for those of you that don't know, is 2 colorless, white for a sorcery. It makes 2/1/1 bird creatures with flying, and it has flashback of tapping 3 untapped white creatures you control to flashback, get 2 more tokens. So 4 mana is 4 mana is basically all you have to put into it, and you get 4 power worth of evasive creatures spread out over 4 creatures. All of those are good things. If it's ripped out of your hand, you discard it to something like the Boros Bully deck does. It's just card advantage. One of the reasons I chose this card is, one of the brews I was playing, I was just like, I'm going to make a white deck based around playing lots of removal. I'm going to play, I think it's Angelic Purge, where you sacrifice a permanent and exile something, and all of your Journey to Nowhere stuff. And I didn't even tune it, and that deck was pretty good, just because Battle Screech is so powerful in our format right now. The Chumpers, if you play this and Rally the Peasants, that's 20 damage. Like, right there. They're doing 5 damage apiece. It's evasive. Any thoughts?
Battle Screech is really, really good. It's particularly good against...
Wow.
What? It is!
I thought that was your whole statement.
It's really, really good. Yeah, no need to sully it with fancy words. It's just really, really good. It's heckin' good.
Wow.
No, like you said, this card is powerful in general, but in the current state of our format, this card is, I think, maybe the best it's been in Pauper. Just with the role that it can play.
Yeah.
Being able to just create near infinite chump blockers.
It feels like it, yeah.
One Battle Screech generates 4 extra turns, of your opponent just attacking you with a big dumb zombie fish, and you just block. All right, I'll take another turn. Not to mention just the synergy it has with Rally the Peasants of being able to kind of just kill your opponent out of nowhere. Like, you play this sort of grindy game where you're kind of 1-for-1ing with them, developing a board. They kind of have to 2-for-1 themselves to answer most of your threats, because they counter your Battle Screech. Well, you still get the other side of it. They kill one of your 1/1 flyers or whatever. You still have all these other ones, and then just kind of out of nowhere you kill them with Battle Screech. Or not.
A lot of people,
the peasants.
A lot of people will you cast Battle Screech, and since you're going to have 2 tokens on the battlefield, you need 1 more white creature. So it puts this lightning rod on your other white creature, and if that's like Thraben Inspector and they end up killing that,
oh, so gas.
Oh, so good. You just 2-for-1 them basically, because you got your clue.
I think the other big thing right now, we talked about Monarch being one of the pillars of our format currently.
Yeah.
And you could be behind on the board, become the Monarch, and just have Battle Screech.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if your opponent has 2 Gurmag Anglers. You're going to just bury them in cards now because they're never going to get damaged through your Battle Screech. And by the time they're at a point where they can, you've already drawn 3 or 4 extra cards off being the Monarch. You're just going to bury them in all this virtual and real card advantage.
I've been enjoying playing it with Seeker of the Way and triggering prowess with this.
Do you seek the way?
Oh, it feels so good.
I love Seeker of the Way right now too.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I've said it before, but I'm really, really high on this tokens deck.
The Boros Bully.
This Boros Rally deck.
I think it's called Boros Bully.
That's stupid, and I'm gonna call it Boros Rally.
Hey, if the guy who made it calls it Boros Bully, everyone is adopting that. That's fine with me.
I'm still gonna call it Boros Rally.
Okay.
Why is it called Boros Bully?
I don't know. I think Propaganda made it, and he likes to make up cool names for his decks.
That's fair. If you want to call your deck a cool name, call it whatever you want, but I'm going to call it a realistic name. That makes sense. That's easy for our listeners to follow along to. Abthan, tortured existence. Abzan Red. Jeskai Black. Those were the best names.
Do you want to get into our main topic?
Yeah.
Main topic.
We're a couple weeks late, but we ain't scared. This is our 2018 year in review episode. Hooray! Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit late.
Yeah, whatever. We wanted to get the last power rankings in before we did the New Year episode, so we did that last time. And now we didn't want to combine them. So we're going to kind of break this main topic into 3 sections. We're going to talk about the top 8 decks of 2018. Then we're going to look at the top cards of the format according to where did we get this data? Top 8?
MTG Top 8. We
MTG
just basically went to the Pauper section, searched top cards, and we just did it for 2018, and we're just going to go over that. I don't know if there's a whole lot of insight in there. It's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then lastly, and certainly leastly, we're going to talk about our Pauper goals for 2019. So let's just start it off with top 8 decks of 2018.
Oh, guess what we get to do again?
What?
I wonder what deck was the number 1 deck.
Which deck, Sean? What was it? Enlighten us.
It was Scred Delver.
Yeah, it was Scred Delver.
We may never be able to do that again.
We might not. It might turn into it was blue black Delver. But no, it's Scred Delver. So Scred Delver had 568 points last year.
So it's at 568, and it is 172 points above the next highest deck.
Yep, and that's even considering that November and December, it's been incredibly low.
Yeah. Scred Delver did just dominate the year. Like, it kind of became a meme on the show that we didn't have to care about what the number 1 deck in the power rankings was, because Scred Delver held it by a margin for, like, I think it was the first
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. It was the top deck by a margin, and then in September it had that weird fell down out of nowhere, and Marasatron took the top spot. And then in October, it came back with a vengeance and reminded us who was the boss in town. And then foil happened.
Yeah, and Blue Black Delver started eating everyone's lunch, and so now,
give me a lunch money, bud. Give me your monies.
So yeah, I think that was kind of the theme of the year, is that Scred Delver, and it's still a super respectable deck. Like, I think just because it lost its top spot, people have lost interest a lot in it. Maybe they're tired of it, or I've just been seeing almost 0 people actually playing this deck against me, and it doesn't deserve. I think it's still super good, and it doesn't deserve that kind of treatment.
Yeah. So next, in second place, with 396 points, we have Boros Monarch.
Number 2 deck in the format for a long time. I don't think it holds that spot anymore.
Yeah, I think that spot's kind of been relegated to the Rally the Peasants, the bully version of this deck, and our third place deck.
Tron.
Which, is Marasatron on 368 points.
And that's not including the other types of Tron.
Yeah, that's just Marasatron. So Blue-White Tron and Mono-Green Tron and Rug Tron are not included in this.
Yeah, so I think the number 2 spot is actually really close, I think, between Tron and Boros. If you lump all the Boros decks and all the Tron decks together, this is a very close number 2 spot.
Well,
So
I actually think that the Monarch decks have it kind of crushed because White Red Rally
oh, I
is
guess yeah, it's been getting a ton of
relatively
points.
yeah is relatively new. Like it it's had small points, so it was like 2 points in January, 2 points in April, 3 points in May, and then like no points, and then all of a sudden, November 19, December 50. So
Yeah,
it didn't really have a presence until the last month of the year, and it's on 76 points, where the rest of the Tron decks are Green Tron 11 points, Rug Tron 10 points, Blue Red Tron 4
well,
points.
did you say blue white Tron at 38?
Where's Blue White Tron?
Line 20, it's number 19.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, 38 for Blue White Tron. So yeah, Blue White Tron makes it closer, but I think it's still clearly a Monarch decks in second
Okay.
place.
Yeah. I didn't notice how like blue white Tron, I think people give it more attention than like it deserves. It's a really small part of our meta.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Okay, so
Uh
those are the top three, which we've got a Gush deck, a Monarch deck, and a Tron deck.
the
That's our
next one
top
kind of
three.
surprised me. The power level of everything below that top three, I think could just be kind of mixed around.
Sure.
But it's Blue Delver with 305 points, so 63 points below that close second place.
Yeah, well, Blue Delver did have a few really good months. And in January, I think it was just the top deck on 38 points. Everything else was just really close. Then it's 21, 19, and then all of a sudden in April it's 50 points. And then from there it kind of dropped below 30, and it's kind of lived in this 20 to 30 range.
That's an interesting bit, is that it was number one in the format for the first month of this year.
Yeah, but Scred Delver, I think that was also when Scred Delver was just starting to take a foothold.
Yeah.
It had 28 points that year, so it was 10 points below Blue Delver, but it was still relatively new. People were still holding on to Mono Blue, were unsure about the Scred Delver deck. And then after that, Scred Delver just took off, and that's when we saw Blue Delver drop drastically.
I think if I can make a prediction, since Blue Delver can also leverage foil, it's gonna still be around here. It's still one of the best decks in the format. In 2019, it's just gonna kind of stay here. I still like it.
Okay. So then, fifth place got Tribe Combo on 231 points.
I was kind of interested to see which of the combo decks were gonna come out on top, and
Yeah.
Tribe.
I figured it would be pretty close between Tribe and the next number 6 deck, which is Elves, with
Yeah.
198 points for the year. Those two seem like they could be pretty interchangeable in that spot. They both do something very powerful, but they also have some pretty big weaknesses.
If LSV didn't play Tribe, would would it be on the top 8? I don't think so.
I don't think so. We can thank LSV for this.
That is a notable thing that happened in 2018.
Yeah, LSV almost broke Popper by taking one of the worst combo decks.
Oh man, that video, man. If you haven't seen it, just seeing the oh my gosh, the luck on that guy. Anyway,
Luck, skill, victory in that order. Okay, what's our number 7?
that was Stompy.
With 197 points, so 1 point behind Elves.
Yeah, this was the year of Elephant Guide. I hope that was just a 2018 thing. I hate Elephant Guide. I hate it.
And see, I hate it for different reasons
Yeah.
than you. I hate it because my opponent always has turn 2 Ledgewalker, turn 3 Elephant Guide, and I never draw a counterspell.
What about foil or days?
I didn't have foil or days at the time. Like Scred Delver.
Yeah, I think it's with those new cards. I don't think you can reliably put an enchantment on a creature like that. And you
Yeah,
have snuff out and stuff fighting
I agree.
against you. You have these Boros decks that if you're not putting it on a hexproof creature, they exile it and they don't even care about the 3/3 never shows up. So I think we're back to normal Stompy. That's what I'll call it.
Yeah, I think that when Scred Delver was on top of everything, the Ledgewalker Elephant Guide decks were probably the best iterations of
Yeah.
Stompy. But now that the meta is shifting away from that, I really like that we're seeing this transition into more classic Stompy. You know, they're bringing back the Wild Mongrels and taking the Elephant Guides away. I'm into that.
One thing that I've noticed over the last week of playing is that Vines of Vastwood is a heck of a card. Always knew it was good. I'm not going to say that, but that is one of the cards that I think is really well positioned in our format. It can pump up a guy to be, you can save it, you can fight a Gurmag Angler with it, you can win the game with it, and where I've been seeing it is actually the Colossal Dreadmaw lists. People, the meme value of that deck it's gotten people's interest, and
Colossal Dreadmaw.
And it's around. You will see that deck if you play a lot of Pauper. You need to be aware of it. Didn't make the top 8.
Sometimes people are just going to play 6/6.
And sometimes that 6/6 will just 2 for 1 your opponent. Or 3 for 1. Okay, I'll line up 4 Battle Screech tokens, and this guy, and this guy, and then you have Vines of Vastwood, and they're not happy.
No, so get the button ready, but I'm going to tell a story about Vines of Vastwood. So this was in 2012 when I had first started playing Magic, and I watched the 2012 Players Championship where they cube drafted, which was pretty sweet. So bear in mind, the Players Championship is what the World Championship is now. So this is a Pro Tour scale event, and they cubed. And so we were sitting over the shoulder of John Finkel drafting cube. And Zach Hill and Marshall Sutcliffe are like, oh my gosh, all these cards are insane. The power level of all these cards are so great. Oh, look at this pack. Oh man, look at all these awesome cards. There's all these great things. And then John Finkel takes the Vines of the Vastwood out of the pack, and they're just like, what the hell? I don't understand why he did that. I don't understand. There were all these cards, dual lands. He took Vines of the Vastwood? What's he planning on doing with Vines of the Vastwood? Round 1 feature match. John Finkel wins because of the Vines of the Vastwood in his deck. And they're just like, oh. I guess
everyone just knows to trust John Finkel when he does something weird.
It was just so funny because Zach Hill and Marshall Sutcliffe had no clue what to make of that pick. They were just like, what's he going to do with that? Is that even going to go in his deck? He wins his match with the Vines, hexproof my guy, and it was just a total blowout.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I've always been really high on Vines of the Vastwood.
Oh, that card!
And man. I won my first PPTQ with Vines of the Vastwood. So you don't got to tell me.
Well,
I like that card a lot.
That's not Pauper.
There it is. All right. Okay, so those were the top 7 decks of the year. We've got one more deck.
Big finish.
Number 8 deck of the year. What do you think it is, listeners? Yeah, you're right. Blue Black Delver.
Okay, so just to be clear, we didn't just make this list up.
Nope.
We did this on the numbers based on challenges on our point system, which I'm sure none of you know, but Brandon does really well.
I know how to count.
Yeah,
I count so good.
And Blue Black Delver in 2 months. Really, it was 2 months of doing well.
Let's go through the year. January 0, February 7, March 0, April 2, May 0, June 0, July 2, August 0, September 28. Okay. All right. We're on to something. October 5. Flash in the pan. Dex garbage. Get out of here. November 42. What the hell? December 102. Oh, huh. That's a thing. Basically, like Sean said, in 2 months, this deck jumped into the top of our 2018 year power rankings. Whew, doggy.
Oh, wow.
Get a dog, little Augie.
Yeah, deck's a big deal.
So
anyway,
yeah, those are our top 8 decks.
Mm-hmm. And want to get into the top cards of 2018?
Top cards of 2018. So this list actually doesn't surprise me too much.
No, there's not a lot of surprises here.
It's about exactly what I thought. My guess for the number 1 card would have been either Preordain or Augur of Bolas. That would have been my guess.
I've seen this a couple of times before, and so like Preordain I would have locked in, but like Lightning Bolt has taken the number 1 slot in our format before. But our number 1 spot with 38% of decks playing is Preordain.
I think that I would have, if I had to bet my life on it, I would have said Preordain, but I also wouldn't have been surprised to see Augur of Bolas really close. So
I would have.
I am a little surprised that it's Lightning Bolt as the number 2 card.
I think the reason the reason I wouldn't be surprised is because there's the overlap in Skred and the Boros decks
that are all playing 3 to 4 Lightning Bolts.
3 to 4 Lightning Bolts, yeah.
Right, but you also have every single blue deck playing 4 copies of Augur of Bolas. So Mono Blue Delver, 4 Augurs. Blue Black Delver, 4 Augurs. Skred Delver, 4 Augurs. Tireless Tribe, 4 Augurs. Is it Blitz, 4 Augurs.
Yeah, it is a super popular card.
Yeah, that's what I would have guessed, because I feel like less decks play, which I think it's right. Less decks play 4 Lightning Bolts compared to the amount of decks that play 4 Augurs, but the Lightning Bolt decks are more dominant than the rest of the Augur decks. Right? Like the Boros decks. More people are playing Boros decks than are playing Tribe and Blitz and Mono Blue Delver, right? And then when you have the number 1 played deck of the year also playing 3 to 4 copies of Lightning Bolt, it does make sense. But in my mind, thinking about listing all the decks that play Augur of Bolas,
there are more of them.
Yeah, and so that's why I assumed Augur was probably number 2. But it's number 3. 31.6% of decks are playing some number of Augur of Bolas.
Already talked about Augur, so let's move on to number 4, Gush. That's at 30%. There are less Gushes in the format than those other cards. This is the number of decks that play the card, but it also tells us that the average deck plays 2.7 Gushes because you can't jam 4 of those.
Yeah, and I think that 7 has gone up with just the last couple months. The average was 2, with the exception of sort of those weirder Gush decks, Blitz and Tribe. But now
and Josh from our LGS.
Oh yeah, familiar. So anyway, yeah. But so Gush, 30.3% of the meta. Number 5, we've got Ponder at 29.1% of the meta. This doesn't really surprise me. Number 6 is Counterspell, 28.4% of the meta. Number 6 is Evolving Wilds.
That's kind of weird to me.
That's nice. A non-blue card.
I mean, that would be a lot higher if people would stop playing Terramorphic Expanse.
Terramorphic Expanse isn't even on this list.
No, but I'm sure it could get a few percentage points. At least to get it above Counterspell and
I actually play a 2-2 split I played 2 Evolving Wilds and 2 Terramorphic Expanses.
Part of the problem.
Well, I only have 2 of each in Japanese.
Oh, I was like,
I only have 2 Japanese Evolving Wilds and 2 Japanese Terramorphic Expanses.
I thought you were going to say you only own 2, and I was just going to be
yeah.
Brandon.
I only own 2 Evolving Wilds. That card is hard to get.
How many nickels do you own?
I bet you I could go into like a bulk box right now of like Battle for Zendikar draft bulk and pick out 50 Evolving Wilds.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Anyway, so that was number 6?
Yeah.
6. Number 7 is Brainstorm at 26.9%. And number 8 is Ash Barrens at 26.6% of decks.
I'm a little bit surprised that Brainstorm is so high, to be honest.
I'm a little bit too. But, so think about it. The mono blue decks play, 2 copies of Brainstorm. The Scred decks, yeah. Or at least they used to at the beginning of the year. When I was gathering the January power rankings data for this show, all the mono blue Delver decks had 2 copies of Brainstorm in them. I don't know if they're still doing it because I'm not paying super close attention to those decks, but you can say that they have 0 to 2.
Yeah. Yeah,
fair
you're
amount.
right.
The Scred decks often will play 2 copies or so of Brainstorm. The Tribe decks play 4 copies. The Blitz decks play Brainstorms. Familiars, I think, played Brainstorm. And now we've got the mono blue Delver deck that plays 4 copies of Brainstorm. So
wait,
there are lots of Brainstorms running around. What did I say?
Mono blue Delver plays 4. That's what you said.
Blue black.
Okay, blue black. Okay.
You know what I meant.
I was kind of spacing out, so I didn't.
So I mean, there's a lot of Brainstorms running around. So it doesn't surprise me to see it in the top 8.
You know how you are like on foil of like trying to figure out why it's so good and why so many people play it? I feel like I'm the same with Brainstorm because all of my Brainstorms feel like they're terrible.
Oh, you just don't know how to Brainstorm, right? you tapping your 1 mana wrong. Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing them correctly, and a lot of them are serviceable, but
yeah, Brainstorm is it's very lackluster in this format.
Still good, but
still good. Yeah, still good. But like, I mean, think about it in Legacy.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with your Brainstorms? You're digging for your Emrakul so that you can cast your Show and Tell. You're going to get your Flusterstorm so that you can counter their Tendrils of Agony. Like, I think that a lot of times the power of a cantrip is in what you are finding and the deck selection. If all your cards are on the relatively same power level and are also on this relatively similar power level to the cards in your opponent's deck, your cantrips are losing value because, well, the deck selection isn't that important because I can draw this card. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as it's a spell, it's probably going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely are you like, oh, I need a Brainstorm and find something. Like, there are a few cards where I can think of, like, Pyroblast is one of them where I'm just like, that's a card I want to Brainstorm into. There's just not a lot of that in the format. And so cantrips on average are lackluster. And that's why the more consistent cantrip, Preordain, is better than Brainstorm and Ponder.
Yeah.
Because with Preordain, you just want to have that better filtration of controlling your draw, smoothing out your curve, making sure you draw the right proportion of lands. Whereas Brainstorm is like I need this card now. And then you put 2 cards back and there's not a lot of good ways to shuffle. Brainstorm just loses a lot of value there.
And one of the things you do with Brainstorm a lot is you get rid of basic lands. And now that I'm trying to play blue black Delver and I want those lands in my hand to pitch to like foil and stuff, a lot of the time my Brainstorms are okay, draw 3 spells that are action, put 1 land and 1 spell that is action back and shuffle.
Yeah, and you're keeping a land.
So it's the cards that I'm getting rid of are really good still.
Yeah, because you're saving a land for your foil.
I mean, I haven't lost anything, and my hand has improved, but
I,
I've
I
put a
feel
lot
like
of effort into
that's
it.
a knock against foil, right? That's one of those scenarios that I'm thinking of. It's like your brainstorms are now worse because you're keeping land in your hand for foil. What is good, what I actually have enjoyed doing is brainstorming, putting back 2 islands, and then cycling ash barrens to get an island back into my hand and shuffling my deck at the same time. That's been
Yeah.
nice. I've done that a couple times with foil, and it feels kind of like, look what I did.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, those were the top 8. I kind of like looking at this list. There's one non-blue card on this that isn't, or I guess there's 2 non-blue cards that aren't lands on this entire list: Lightning Bolt and Prophetic Prism. Everything else on this list is blue or is a land. That kind of surprises me.
And Bajuka Bog made the list. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And this is only main decks, but that makes me question my whole life and if this list is real.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm now like actually just questioning the validity of this list.
They're not taking, this isn't just challenges or anything like that. This is everything that MTG Top 8 takes data from.
Everything. So paper events, online events, everything. Yeah, Bajuka Bog is weird to me. Great Furnace is another interesting one.
Oh, no, that's not weird to me. Just between Affinity and Boros. It's not that weird.
I guess. I don't know. This list is interesting. Some of these make a lot of sense to me, and some of them are just very weird.
Yeah. Anyway, take that whole thing with a grain of salt. And I want to move on, because we're at 1 hour and 3 minutes.
Oh, boy. All right. So to close out our 2018 year in review, we are just going to kind of talk about what our goals for 2019 are. Mostly in regards to Pauper, obviously, and to the podcast.
Do you want to go first, or should I? Mine are fairly short.
Yeah, mine too. I don't really have a lot. Right now, my goals are elsewhere. They're not really MTG related. Like, my goals are get my business up and running, try to get through school. Those are my goals right now. But as far as Pauper goes, my goal ultimately is still to try to be the best host that I can be. And that does entail, making sure that I'm very knowledgeable about the format. So I think I want to try to set a goal that I am playing minimum 2 hours of Pauper a week. Which maybe doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, especially probably compared to you and the amount that you play. But for me, with the limited amount of time that I have to dedicate to playing Magic, 2 hours is a pretty substantial amount for me. It's honestly probably going to mean that I don't play Arena anymore to make room for it. But yeah, I want to play or consume some sort of Pauper content. So like either I'm playing for 2 hours, or if I don't have a chance to play, I'm going to try to like read an article. Like, I'm in line at the grocery store. Read a Pauper article on Hipsters of the Coast or something, something to make sure that like every week I'm actively trying to improve or become more knowledgeable about the format.
So something that I think helps me is I have a plethora of YouTube channels I subscribe to, and anytime I'm playing Magic, I'm watching Magic at the same time, and I put YouTube on double speed a lot of the time, and I consume 3 times as much Magic content in the same amount of time just doing that.
Yeah, see, I've got to try to get used to that, because it bugs me to no end when I can tell that something's on like more than normal speed. Like, just drives me nuts. But I was talking to a lady and she was just like, yeah, I listen to ebooks on like double speed because it helps my brain. It helps your brain focus. Like when the words are going, like when it's on double speed, your brain will focus on it better. Yeah. And I was just like, that's interesting.
Well, you don't notice how slow of a game Magic is until you're watching someone else play it, and that's the only thing you're doing. And you're just like, wow, he's tanked for 3 minutes. His opponent tanked for 3 minutes. I've sat here watching someone do nothing for 6 minutes. And like I will miss things because it's going so fast and I'm also doing something else. But the important parts are not those individual interactions. It's like, look back, this is the game state. I just need to know how this deck functions, how this is interacting with these other cards. I feel like that helps me be a better host.
Okay. Yeah, so that's really my only goal, is to make sure that every week I'm doing something to improve my knowledge of the format, whether that's specifically playing. Like, I would prefer to be playing, but if I just don't have a chance to turn on Magic Online and sit for 10 minutes in a queue, read an article, watch a video on YouTube, just do something to make sure that I'm engaging myself with the format. And if that does mean that I've got to give up, the time I'd be spending on Arena playing Magic or whatever, then, so be it.
Yeah, Arena, that's not Pauper.
Yeah, that's not Pauper. So that's my goal.
My goals for 2019, it's nothing new actually. It's really to keep my head above water in terms of what I've made my goals so far. My goals have been make one video a month on my YouTube channel, and a lot of the time I don't do that just because I'm already editing this podcast, planning this podcast. Like, the goal of just doing this podcast, I think, would be enough. If, like, that's my primary concern. Doing that on top of it is another thing, and then playing Magic at all is another thing. So, like, just doing those things, I think I'm covered. I don't have any new goals this year. I can't really do any more. I guess if I had any goal, it wouldn't be to do with Magic. It would be to actually work on my game. But that's also on top of doing my YouTube channel and stuff. So yeah, I'm a busy boy, and I just need to stay on it and keep doing the stuff I'm doing.
Nice. Right on. Yeah, I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions, in that, like, once a year you make up some stupid goal. Like, my goal is pretty much a continuation of my last goal, which I kind of downgraded it a bit. Like, last time, if you remember, my goal was to play one league a week.
Yeah.
And at this point, I've kind of downgraded that, because things in my life have changed. I just don't know that I can make a realistic goal that I'm going to play an entire league of Magic Online in a week. So, but in essence, my goal is still a continuation of that, because the function of that goal was to try to make me a better host, make me more knowledgeable about the format. So I think, like, ultimately that's my main goal. The way I'm going to make it measurable is by trying to spend 2 hours a week doing something Pauper related, playing Magic Online, reading an article, watching a YouTube video, whatever. And then for you, it's the same thing. Like, these are just, you have goals and they carry on through, and I don't know.
Yeah, we don't need to do anything new for this year because we're already being pretty productive, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, you have to just give up on your goals from last year and start a new goal just because 2019 has come. And for the most part, I feel like a lot of people just, it's the new year. I'm gonna ride my bike more.
I mean, that's good if you haven't been doing anything, and a lot of the time winter comes and everyone just stays inside, and so they make these new goals. But yeah, we've been pretty productive. So I want to pat myself on the back for 2018. We got this whole podcast going. We've only been going for this year, really. It was in February that we started.
Less than a year. So, I mean, we're coming up on a year, but that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, pat Sean on the back for all the work he does on the podcast, and pat listeners on the back, because this wouldn't even be worth it at all if it wasn't for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, why aren't we patting you on the back?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I pat myself on the back too much.
You've got sores.
My back. Oh, my back needs a break. No, but seriously though, this whole show wouldn't even. I'm not going to say wouldn't be possible, because we could do it. Sean and I could do it if 0 people were listening. Nothing's stopping us. But it would definitely just not be worth it. This podcast is worth it because of the engagement we get from the listeners, the YouTube, the Facebook page, emails that we get from you guys. That stuff is, to me, what makes this podcast worthwhile. And so big thank you to you guys for listening to us and sticking out with us and supporting the show. So yeah, what do you say we just wrap it up?
Yeah, one thing before we do, I wanted to do this at the start, and I completely forgot. The Maverick Girl gave us a shout out in one of her articles, her this year in Popper article of hers.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that because I was like, oh, that's what we're doing this year or this week. I want to see that, and her name came up, and that was huge for me. So I just wanted to say thank you to her on our podcast, and everyone who's not reading her articles, you're missing out. Yes, definitely. She's very good at our format. You should care about her opinion.
Yeah, no, I was just totally starstruck when I read that. Between that and getting featured on channelfireball.com, I think those were the 2 biggest highlights for me as a creator.
The mothership was pretty cool too. On
the
actual site. Yeah,
so we made it on the mothership. Channel Fireball featured us in the This Week in Popper. It was for one of our Power Rankings episode, and then the Maverick Girl kind of shouted us out. Mm-hmm. She included us in the echelon of notable Popper podcasts, which is what I thought was neat. She was kind of putting us up there close to Color Commentary as these are the podcasts you should be listening to.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. And I was just kind of starstruck, how does she know who we are? She's got to have better stuff to do than to.
She's active on the Reddit, and we've been on the Reddit, so.
Oh gosh!
I think that's how she found out.
Oh no, we've made it to the Reddit. That's terrifying.
Oh, the Popper Reddit is great.
Is it?
I love it.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of nonsense of hey, I made this brew, and sorry to this guy. It's all skeletons with regenerate. It's why is it all skeletons? There's better things that aren't skeletons. Because it's skeletons! And you're just
this makes me laugh. Just because of the conversation we had the other week when we went to play Popper at Oasis, and you played your Boros women deck. It makes me laugh that you're over here kind of criticizing that when that was you last week.
I'm just saying, that deck I built is nonsense. That post is also nonsense. But there's also really good discussions of you'll find articles on there of what it would mean if this thing was banned, or this new card is coming, what does it mean, or why is this deck gone? So I find a lot of my insight from there. I don't know where you get your articles, but
maybe I'm just biased. Well, I mean, I follow Alex Olman on Twitter. I follow the Maverick Girl on Twitter. When they post their articles, I click on them and read them. Mm-hmm. But maybe I'm just biased because in general, Reddit is just a cesspool of just garbo people. And so I just have avoided it. And I've honestly never really even gone to the Popper Reddit. So maybe that's something I can do, is to be more active in that community, reading what's going on there.
Yeah, there's just a lot of Popper content all in one place. So I don't need to go out and find this or that. It's just Maverick Girl's article comes up. I don't know, something, the band list discussion was something translated out of Italian that I never would have found. So
neat. All right. Yeah. You know what? After this, I'm going to go do that. While I'm settling down in bed, I like to read an article. I'll check out the Reddit.
Okay, we got to get the narc out of here.
Yeah, we got to narc on out of here, bruh.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Snarf.
Snarf. That's you're harshing my squanch, man.
That's not Popper.
That's not squanch.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We love you so big. That big how we love you.
End times.
If you guys would like to support the show, you can do so directly via Patreon at patreon.com/common knowledge, where you'll get access to Sean's graph, the Common Coliseum, and we're still building towards our 5-card blind stretch goal. You know what? I kind of want to just open it up to the listeners. This is a spur of the moment thing, and I haven't even run this by Sean. This just popped into my brain. What do you guys want to see? You guys are the ones giving us the money. What do you want us to do? Tell us, email us, write us on Facebook. What stretch goals would you like to see us do? Are you guys even interested in this 5-card blind tournament?
Yeah, because you guys clearly don't seem interested.
We've been hovering like right, just like, oh, we're close, a couple more, we might hit it, and then it drops down.
Yeah, I was super excited about it. Seems like a good idea to me, but
yeah, we think it would be fun, but if it's not something you guys are interested in, we don't want to waste our time with it. Let us know what you guys want to see. What are stretch goals that you want us to do? This is for you, right? Like, What do you want to see with our content? Is there a segment that you want us to incorporate full-time into the show where maybe we could set that as our first stretch goal?
Or like a mini episode with whatever that we could add to the queue every week. We can do literally anything.
Yeah, we just need to know what you guys want to do. I know Sean and I, we do have ideas, but and maybe that's one thing we'll do is we'll maybe lay out a few of our ideas and let you guys vote on what you would want to see as our stretch goals or whatever, something like that. But let us know. Email us. Hit up the Facebook page, the Constructive Criticism page on Facebook. Post there the things you would want to see. Hit us up on Twitter.
And if you don't, then I'm just gonna make the Twitter poll asking if people are actually interested in that or not, because people tend to not email us.
We get like maybe 2 a month emails, sometimes more.
Is it that much?
I feel like it. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Yeah, so anyway, if you want to do that and reach out and let us know what you'd want to see, you can do that via email at commonknowledgemtg@gmail.com. You can also find us, like I said, on Facebook. We have that Facebook group, The Common Knowledge. Just search for that. You can find me on Twitter at bclark_ck. You can find the show on Twitter at ckpodcastmtg. And you can also find Sean in multiple places.
You can find me at Lobbert8 on Twitter, and you can find me if you just search for Lobbert on YouTube. Bye, everybody!